Long Story Short, the podcast where we discuss the movies that I love.
And I put up with.
My name is Mike.
And I'm Jordan.
And this week we were discussing the 2020 Netflix film, Jesus Christ on a Cross.
Whoa! You can't say that during this movie.
Listen, I feel like this movie is the time to say it, if you're asking my honest opinion.
No.
However, this is the movie for Netflix, written by Donald Ray Pollock. The screenplay is written by Antonio and Paulo Campos, and it was directed by Antonio Campos. It stars Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgard, and our best friend, Jason Collette.
Woo!
Yeah, he plays Gary Matthew Bryson, who I think is pretty and arguably the hero of this movie.
He was one of our favorite people without us knowing that the actor that portrays him was going to comment on our Twitter later.
Right. We posted something to our podcast Twitter, and he commented on us, and it was fucking awesome.
So thank you. We know you're busy. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and truly though, your role in this film was probably one of our favorite non-main characters. What's crazy is I had read this book, and I was listening to this book when for my second time through. I was
reading the book and watching the movie wasn't enough. You had to buy the audio so you could listen to the book. All of the senses needed the devil all the time.
I showed you the voice actor for this audiobook was fucking phenomenal.
So I don't really listen to books because I'm used to like 2005 when
your eyeballs?
Narrators on books were like monotone and they just read the book for like 12 hours, and I didn't like that. So I don't do that. But then you showed me this guy and he's good.
Very, very good. You knew what character he was acting when he used his specific voice.
That kind of leads us into our fun facts though, because one of our fun facts...
Are we done bragging about our best friend?
We're not, but we will talk about him when we talk about the movie. Okay.
Well, wait, honey. I feel like we need to discuss our changes first. We're doing a few things
That was a perfect segue into my fun fact, though. Like, literally.
I get it, but things are significantly different.
Okay.
Honey.
Go on.
I feel like Bill Nye a little bit.
We are video recording this podcast.
Which will come out later than the audio because it's our first fucking time, so, like, who knows?
We kind of look like dorks. If you guys want to see, just watch it.
Sorry for
It'll be on
walls.
YouTube. We're painting. That's why this wall is blue, and these
those walls are white.
Okay. A fun fact.
Yeah, we kind of got away from the movie.
The author of the book is the narrator of the movie.
Showed you how involved in this movie he was.
Which I thought was cool. And, like, some of the lines are really obvious that they're straight out of the book. And then you told me...
Yeah, even before, like, I started nerding out about this, you were like, that seems like it's straight from the book. And it is.
Well, and it's...
Almost always.
This is different because usually I'm the book nerd, and you're the movie nerd, and you read the book, and...
Well, it's
listened
very
to the book,
similar
and read the book again, and whatever you did.
Well, this author reminds me a lot of Cormac McCarthy. And Cormac McCarthy, of course, is one of my favorite authors and was almost the downfall of our relationship as I made you read The Road telling you it was a fantastic book, which it is.
I never cried that hard in my life. That's trauma. Like, I think that is trauma.
Moving forward.
Real spiders were used in the filming of this movie.
That's fucked up.
That isn't a fun fact.
Okay. On paper, I like spiders. Ending the conversation there because they freak me the fuck out.
And you said in the book the spiders bit the congregation.
They bite a fuck ton of people.
Yeah,
it's messed up.
Okay. And the third fun fact, very Robert Pattinson of Robert Pattinson. He didn't reveal his evangelical preacher accent until they started filming.
Yeah, I've seen some hate given to him online for his accent, and I think it's not deserved.
Yeah, you would know about evangelical preachers. Yeah. We'll get into that, I'm sure.
So, honey, do you have the long story short of this movie?
I wasn't prepared for that one. Even though that's the name of our podcast. The Devil All the Time. Bible thumpers. Religion. Bad stuff happening repeatedly and stacking upon bad thing, and it's all over. The end.
That's terrible. That's fine. All right, so we're going to try to have more of a conversation about this rather than go scene by scene. And, of course, we are first introduced to Willard in the movie, and that is Skarsgård, a.k.a. Pennywise. He's just getting back from World War II, where he has seen a shit ton of bad stuff, including a dude fucking nailed to a cross with flies.
I think the bad thing wasn't the point that he saw him, it was the point that he had to shoot him in the head to put him out of his misery. That's what fucked him up. Besides all the other, shit in World War II that, fucks people up. That was definitely it.
Cross was,
but he goes...
not traumatizing at all.
He goes home, and on his way home, he stops in the cafe, and he meets the waitress, and I thought it was cute that he tipped her $1. He didn't get her name.
On a cup of coffee.
Like, it made me research how much $1 was worth back in this time period, and it was like $10. $10 on a cup of coffee, I guess.
That's pretty solid.
It's more of like demographical, and it's more complicated than just the money conversion aspect of it, which was not the point.
The demographics of this movie have a lot to do with this fucking movie and this book.
West Virginia.
Yeah, they're poor. They're in, I believe they're in the Bible Belt. Are they?
I would say so.
And so religion's a big thing, and poverty's a big thing. Like, both of these play major roles in this movie, and of course in the book. The book, of course, is a little bit more in-depth, but I really think that the movie really only misses on the parts of the book that would make this movie NC-17. The book is rough. Before we really jump deep into the movie, I'll save it for the end. I'll save it for the end. We'll keep going.
We're getting excited.
Really? Okay, so one thing I thought that was interesting, the biggest difference in the movie versus the book is the fact that Carl and Sandy kind of are downplayed in the movie. They're kind of the major catalyst of everything that happens in this entire story, and they are in the movie too. They really, really are. But in the book, they have probably the largest storyline.
Well, so the narrator in the film, because again, I'm only going off the movie because I'm a slacker and I didn't read the book.
It's fine.
Or listen to the book. He says
I don't think
that
you'd like the book, honey. I really, really don't. Like, judging your reaction to the road, I don't think you'd love the book.
This town, what the fuck is the town? Smith, whatever. That everyone is either related.
Stiff. It's a real town too. The author's actually from near there. He's from Ross County, Ohio.
That everyone's either related to each other by family or by one calamity or another.
Foreshadowing.
And so that's like really how Sandy and Carl are, because you see them in the church congregation and then through...
Well, Sandy is Sheriff Bodecker's sister, and we're introduced to Sandy and Bodecker prior to him becoming sheriff. He's just a cop, and he has aspirations. But Sandy really kind of is
She's in the cafe where we meet...
The Wooden Spoon.
Where we meet Willard's wife, Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's the beginning.
Okay.
Now what?
We're discussing the movie, so we got a little distracted on the book. So let's discuss the movie, and at the end we can discuss that
was the movie. No, I was discussing the movie because again I don't have the.
So Willard meets Charlotte, and they get hitched. Although I think this part is important to both the movie and the book, is that the fact that Willard's mother wanted him to marry Helen, who goes on to marry Roy Lafferty. And this is really the beginning of our story, where Helen marries Roy and they have a daughter. And then Willard marries Charlotte and they have a son. And although, like I said, Sandy and Carl are really our main characters in a weird way, this is why the movie focuses on Arvin and Lenora.
So much like Robb Stark in Game of Thrones, marrying the wrong person pisses off God and sets off hours of enjoyment to come, right?
Enjoyment, yeah. Yeah, this movie is super lighthearted.
Game of
Watch
Thrones,
it with the kids.
that comparison works because
No,
it's
it
violent.
It's dark as fuck. Yeah, and it has some weird religious implications.
And so I'm, in the meantime, waiting for Tom Holland very patiently, and he's not here yet.
It's almost
because
a 2.5
this is
hour
about
movie, and we don't get
we definitely
to the two people that are kind of like the main stars of the trailer until halfway through.
we're kind of seeing Willard's spiral because Charlotte develops cancer.
Correct.
And you say that this is more developed in the novel.
Right, in the novel, they really go into the heartbreaking situation that is losing someone to cancer, and of course, this is right after World War II. I mean, we barely can control cancer as it is now in 2020, and of course, they had no control over this back then, and Willard and his wife are broke. They don't have the money for treatment. They can't really do shit about it.
They're renting a house. Arvin is a child at this point.
Right. And Willard starts taking Arvin to the prayer log, where he's created a cross and they pray to God. And
with the family dog.
In my opinion, this is where the child abuse starts without Willard realizing it. It's something that's discussed in a second. We'll get there in a moment. But this is child abuse through and through, because he basically tells Arvin, unless you pray hard enough, unless you believe hard enough, mom's gonna die, and that's gonna be your fucking fault. So they're out there morning, noon, and night. Morning and night. Morning and night is when actually the book and the movie say. And they're praying to God, crying out, and God doesn't fucking answer because it's cancer. Like,
it's not how it works.
Yeah, it's not how it works.
People of science.
So this is really kind of one of the first points in Arvin's life where he's really hardened against religion, and that really plays a role throughout this film in his character and the arc of this entire story.
He's also getting picked on at school because he isn't related either, because most of the town, it's right. Like this town we live in, you know everyone, or you're related to everyone, and there's like a weird, we won't call it incest vibe, but
so anyways, Arvin's mom dies, and then Willard joins her.
I think it's important that Arvin's most memorable day with his father was when his father
this is really important. Yeah,
takes him and the family dog in the pickup truck to go assault the people that talk bad about Charlotte.
Yeah, they make some really creepy rape.
So basically he jumps these people individually, and we see it, and Arvin sees it as a child. And
one of the most important lines of the book and the movie, in my opinion, is lots of no good sons of bitches in the world, is because it kind of sets up this whole story, because this story really doesn't revolve around anyone that's necessarily a decent human being. Arvin's the closest thing we have to a hero, and he's still just kind of a violent asshole. I mean, I'm Team Arvin all the way, but he's still not a good guy. There's no good people in this movie, and I find that very interesting.
It's interesting because it's based on, evangelical Christianity, so all these people are like God-fearing individuals who are supposed to be good people, but there's lots of calamities happening in this story.
I've grown up around evangelical Christianity, and although the message has changed, there's still a lot of similarities. Some of the ignorance is just prevalent as fuck. It's crazy.
Willard had committed suicide or sacrificed himself thinking that would please God.
No.
Right? Or is this is a delusion?
That's something beautiful that the book included that the movie didn't. It's okay. Jumping way ahead, but this is important for this part of the scene, because we don't need to talk about it later, because I won't remember it. Later on in the movie, Arvin realizes later on in the book, rather, Arvin realizes that Willard had to be with Charlotte. It's very sad, and it speaks to Willard's mental illness. Mental illness is another theme that's prevalent in this movie and book that isn't necessarily directly addressed. And Willard just couldn't live in a world without his wife. Like, everything else, like, I don't know.
I could have missed it in the movie, to be honest. I was just trying to get us back on track. So he's committed suicide. Arvin is a child.
He's taken to his grandparents.
And he meets his stepsister, Lenora.
And now we need to jump into her story. Because we didn't discuss why she's at the grandparents yet, and that's where we're going to go to right now.
Because we're not going scene by scene.
No, because we're having a discussion about this, and this is why you can't have, like, if we went scene by scene, it'd be confusing. I think that's why we need, okay, so where we're at is Willard and Charlotte are dead. Arvin is now with his grandparents. Well, his grandma and his uncle. And now we're going to go down Lenora's path, which starts with Roy and Helen Lafferty. Roy is a traveling pastor, evangelical pastor that kind of has a reputation due to his
spiders on his face,
stunts that he pulls. The reason why his cousin is in a wheelchair is because they drank too much strychnine.
That's his cousin?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't discuss it in the movie. Something else they don't discuss in the movie is the fact that Theodore wants to fuck Roy. I mean,
his cousin.
It's more beautiful in the book. Like it's very broke.
But it's still his cousin.
Listen,
we're Game of Thrones still. This is still lining up.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
I never said you were wrong. So now, but Roy gets with Helen, the one that the grandma wanted. I'm
very
sorry, guys.
Pie-faced. Is pie-faced the word? Just homely looking girl.
She's fine.
Is that too personal?
No, you're fine. So they get together.
I don't blame fucking Willard at all.
No. So, but Emma had wanted not Arvin, but Willard to get with. You fucked me up, honey.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Let me get this back together. Emma had wanted Willard to get with... What's the fucking bitch's name? Helen! Jesus! Okay, we're back on track. Emma wanted Willard to get with Helen. He got with Charlotte instead. And because of that, Roy and Helen end up together, and Roy is very schizophrenic. The movie hints at this, but the book paints it out black and white. It gets wild. It's really sad. I work in the mental health industry, and this religious preoccupation is very, very common. Honey, you know a thing or two about that. We don't need to necessarily jump down that rabbit trail, but this is something that happens with mentally ill people. And
I have a family member who's paranoid schizophrenic, and it's very common that they think they're like the Messiah or God or Jesus, and it's just a common hallucination.
Right, and in the movie they jump over this a bit, so I'm just going to throw in the book. The book, Theodore is jealous, of course, of Helen, and tells Roy that he has to sacrifice. Okay, sorry, hang on, I'm getting too excited.
Roy fucking...
He goes nuts. He gets bit in the head by one of his spiders and hides out in a closet for a month.
Okay, Spider-Man. We haven't even got to Spider-Man yet, but Spider-Man jokes.
Well, yeah,
I had to.
I think the point is we forgot to say
that
the full
Roy...
name. Wait, honey, we forgot to say the full name of this movie. The Devil All the Time. Colon. Batman versus Spider-Man.
The Batman versus...
Zack Snyder edition. Anyways, what were you saying?
So Roy takes Helen out in the middle of the woods, and stabs her in the jugular with a screwdriver. Because we're not going scene by scene, honey.
But you're skipping an important part that the book puts in there. It was not Roy's initial decision. He wanted to sacrifice a cat.
This is a movie podcast.
I know, but hang on. He wanted to sacrifice a cat, which in the book they talk about the fact that Roy has done this several times because he's scared of cats. And abuse of animals and murdering of animals is common signs of someone that's mentally unwell. So I just thought that was important for this scene too. And that's when Theodore says to murder Helen instead, because if God is truly telling him that he can raise people from the dead, it can't be a fucking cat. It's got to be a human. So they leave Lenora with Emma.
Baby Lenora.
With Emma, the grandma. And they go out into the middle of the woods. And fucking Roy stabs her right in the goddamn jugular. This is a hard death to watch in the movie. Like, this was rough.
Oh, no. I only cared about Gary.
Well, we're not there yet. So
Helen was kind of annoying.
And shocker, Helen does not come back.
Imagine that.
Yeah, weird. She gets stabbed in the neck with a fucking screwdriver, and she doesn't survive it. Shocker. Okay, so that is how Lenora gets to Emma, and that's how Arvin gets to Emma.
Our timelines converge now.
Correct. So let's
fast forward, because this movie does time hop. But better than The Witcher did.
Yeah.
Because we get some, like, headers.
We at least
That's
get
not
some
what they're
hints.
called in movies. Subtitles.
We get some hints.
Yes. And so Arvin is...
Well, I think it's also important, I think we said it earlier, but once again, Arvin is brought to his grandparents by Bodecker, who is Sandy's brother. Because he becomes a much larger part of this story upcoming.
It's interesting because obviously this is a little rabbit trail, but the timelines like interweave. They never like go together.
I didn't just have a seizure or catch being an asshole. Hang on.
Like, I'm used to like timelines, if they're gonna connect, they connect and they stay connected, but these ones like they hint that these people are like related or intertwined through a calamity. We're gonna have to probably cut this out because everyone is barking.
And wrap up the Carl and Sandy timeline, because in the movie, we'll jump into the discrepancies at the end, but in the movie they are a major part but a minor part, kind of like most of the characters in this movie, which is really interesting. Like Willard and Charlotte were giant characters in the movie, but they really had minor roles, similar to Roy and Helen.
They're more like
catalysts.
They're intertwining characters, not converging characters.
Well, the
like
story
besides
can't
the
happen.
end,
The story can't happen
yes,
without them.
they're catalysts, but they're like they're really unneeded until the end, which you said didn't even happen in the book. So
Side note,
it's okay.
really quick.
Whatever. Okay, go on.
Side note, really quick. I love the fact that we can see the Mastiff's drool on the TV behind us.
No, don't point that out.
No, it's fine. The viewers deserve to know. Okay, so Carl and Sandy, they are straight up serial killers. Like, that's something that the movie shows us but doesn't directly say. I don't know why I'm using so many hand motions. I've never done this before.
Basically, because they're on camera and we don't know what to do, and now it's looking at us.
Oh, I'm sorry. You act like I wasn't the host of my 8th grade middle school's fucking daily news program. I came up with our biggest hit. I threw a beach ball from the side. Talk about summer vacation.
I think it was strongly implied that they were serial killers by like the box of naked photographs where they were like naked people and like dead people and like halfway murdered people.
In the movie, they pick up Roy, and he's fucking gross, and they fucking kill him. And that's kind of where. Oh no! Wait! We forgot to talk about our best friend stuff. They pick up Private.
Yes,
Gary.
this is important because we didn't really care about them. Like, we knew they were sort of like
dirtbags,
but we didn't care about their killing and like who they killed or whatever until
Private Gary Matthew
Mr.
Bryson.
Jason was on screen, because his face is so like, he looks so genuine and so nice. You immediately look at him and you're like, don't fucking kill that guy.
Well, and like I said, I don't want to throw away too much of the book, but this was really kind of the murder that sends Sandy against Carl. Is this soldier, is Private Gary Matthew Bryson. This guy is just pure. He's about to be shipped out to Vietnam. And it really makes sense, because Sandy isn't supposed to be a bad character. She's someone that's been twisted and manipulated by Carl. And the movie does show it. We'll get into my comments on the movie at the end. But so, like, they kill her best friend, and
I think that he does do a good job at portraying that this was a turning point in Carl and Sandy's character arcs, because it's fucked up.
Their relationship as a whole really changes. She goes from someone that's kind of a willing participant to a prisoner.
And we also have to note that he, besides Arvin, he's the only other character who said, like, I was baptized because I'm not a heathen, but I don't know that much about the Bible.
Right.
In a strongly Bible-influenced movie, obviously.
So that kind of wraps them up for now. This is really when we're introduced to the douchebag of Reverend. Why the fuck did I say Russell? It's Reverend.
I've been waiting for Robert Pattinson.
Preston Teagarden.
What the fuck? This movie.
Fat motherfucker.
This movie waits 45 minutes to an hour to introduce the characters that were teased most often in the trailers. Which, I mean, I don't blame them, because they're like the...
To be fair, the book did too. But the book didn't the book didn't get a trailer. So I understand your point, honey.
Anyway, it's Robert Pattinson. He's the reverend of the town's nephew. The reverend of the town is an old guy dying of tuberculosis.
Reverend?
Reverend? Yes.
Reverend. It's not. They are not fighting a bear. They are preaching the word. Reverend. With a D.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the fucking Reverend for this town is fucking gonna die of fucking TB.
And he's all coughing on everybody. You see him coughing on Arvin and...
Oh, it's almost like he has COVID and it's 2020.
What's her name? Lenora?
Yeah.
Before he leaves. Anyway, so in religious groupings, you would know that pastors and reverends, not reverends, are esteemed. Like, they're treated like celebrities, or like, I don't know, fucking rich people.
Definitely didn't
godlike
ever
people
run to the grocery store just to get the visiting pastor Fiji water.
See, I was raised Lutheran, which is more towards
Alright, wait.
Catholic.
We gotta pump the brakes here.
We're talking about pastors.
I know we're conversating, but we need to really say the anti-religious shit for the end.
I was just saying how I was raised.
Oh, I was just gonna say we gotta dupe people for a second before we...
Okay. Yes, okay. I was just saying, like, our religion, like, sure, like, the pastor and stuff, like, that's great. We don't have a pope because we're not Catholic, but we don't, like, worship them, or, like, we're not as big. Evangelicals, like, that's obviously, like, a thing with them, that you need to, like, bow to this person. Listen. Practically. Like, suck his dick. Don't buy chicken livers.
Foreshadowing.
Suck Robert Pattinson's dick.
So... They have this big giant meal for the pastor, and they insult Holland's grandma, Emma.
Because she made livers, which is an organ, so Robert Pattinson has to sacrifice his whatever to eat the organs so that other people can have the holy meats or whatever the fuck they're called.
Basically, the biggest takeaway from all of this is the hypocrisy of Pattinson, where... He's supposed to be this kind, genuine pastor, and he makes a woman that's poor feel like shit. So that's kind of the point of this whole movie, where kind of the religious leaders of this film are kind of dirtbags that really only care about themselves, which is really how why Pattinson is a dirtbag. He doesn't care about the innocence of these girls that he ends up raping. He cares about his...
That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
He was just making fun of chicken livers, and now he's just raping girls?
Did it really have that much of a jump in the movie?
No, not really.
Thank you. Thank you.
So as a young, semi-attractive, semi-fat preacher, he has his pull on the young virgins in the congregation.
I went to Bible college before, I got educated. Fucking happened. Easy.
Pull those bitches.
Oh,
Pull them bitches in.
You
better not be pulling any bitches.
The pastor of my school was like this 50-year-old man that had a six-pack, and there was at least 3 girls in our school that I'm 90... Okay. Because I don't want to be libeled. 32.5% certain we're sucking his dick.
Okay, so the problem with this is not...
Fair, and he could dunk.
Not the situation. Okay, obviously...
that was honestly one of his breaking points. He told us all within the first week of us getting there that he could dunk.
That's weird.
Hey, yeah, it is.
Okay, so obviously there's an issue because no matter how consensual the act is, there's still power dynamic, an unhealthy, unequal power dynamic. So this is not good. Not good for feminism. Not good for young women. Robert Pattinson needed to keep it in his pants, but now we know his character is up to no good.
He has a wife, too.
Lenora. He gets to Lenora.
Honey, the movie kind of downplays this, but he has a wife that's 18 years old, and he's going after these young children. He has a wife at home, and that's why later on, Arvin says, I have a wife at home that'll do almost anything. Because that's what his wife is.
Reverend Teagarden is a predator.
Yeah.
Next.
What's next?
He gets to Lenora and impregnates her and then refuses it. How could I be a daddy if we only spent time together with God? Or whatever he says.
How could I be the daddy when all we done was spend time with the Lord?
If that's what we call it, then
I
don't know.
He basically convinces Lenora to kill herself.
This
is fucked up. This part is so fucked up. Like he basically says, I'm not taking any kind of responsibility and fucking figure it out. And so she goes to kill herself. And right as she figures out that her grandma really isn't going to care because her grandma fucking loves her, her grandma actually is a genuine person who believes. Unlike, kind of like the leaders in this movie are the dirtbags. The ones that use religion to manipulate their flock.
Power, because we see Bodecker being running for mayor too, which is
he's running for sheriff.
Oh, sheriff?
Yeah, he's running for sheriff.
Okay, I saw elective. Just
it's a similar.
It's the same thing. It's a power corruption. And
Correct.
So we're using that as a bad thing. It's not always just religion. Sometimes it's power.
This movie uses religion a lot, but it also, you're right. It uses other forms of power to show the corruption that can happen. Even with Carl and Sandy, where Carl's the man, and this is the, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, where women weren't as likely to stand up for themselves. They were trying to find a husband. They were trying to find someone. And all of the people that are being taken advantage of are poor.
And after World War II, that was an issue because women had filled in job-wise, and then all the men came back, and so it was like,
Carl
what the fuck?
Never worked, by the way, in the book. It was always Sandy. And then he would take them out on the road when it wasn't winter, but she was always the one bringing home the bacon in every single sense of the word. Carl was a lazy piece of shit. So almost all of our storylines have converged at this point. Like, we've wrapped up long ago with Willard and Charlotte. We wrapped up long ago with Roy and Helen. We wrapped up Roy, Sandy, and Carl. Arvin has... We've wrapped up with Lenora. Did we discuss her suicide yet? No. She kills herself. She fucking kills herself because of...
She doesn't kill herself.
Well,
she
accidentally
kills herself.
because of Pea Garden.
She realizes having a child out of wedlock might not might not. Whoa.
Yeah, you're getting a little West Virginian there. No, she just realized that Emma's not going to judge, nor is Arvin, nor is their uncle. Like, it's going to be fine because she has family that loves her. Like, all right, wait, we'll say that for 1 second. But either way, she ends up killing herself on accident by hanging herself. And this is where we get to Arvin and Pea Garden.
So that an officer approaches Arvin and lets him know in confidence that Lenora was pregnant, and Arvin doesn't believe him at first because obviously Lenora was a good Christian girl, but then he kind of puts it together that it was damn fucking fuckface.
Yeah, it was Reverend Tea Garden. I keep calling Pea Garden. But that's fine.
Hunts him down while he's in church.
And kills him.
And shoots him down. First he sits... Wait, I think it's important because, okay, Tom Holland, you fucking all of a sudden badass. We're supposed to think you're a badass in Spider-Man, but now...
Hang on,
oh,
wait,
sorry.
Pause that, because I feel like we need to discuss that specifically at the end. I have a lot of opinions on that.
He's sitting in the congregation, and he has, like, his hat pulled down and stuff, and he starts confessing to the Reverend, basically, and we find out halfway through the conversation, we catch on that he's telling Tea Garden what Tea Garden's been doing, because he's been watching him for a couple weeks.
Delusions!
Since Lenora's death, and catches him, and confronts him, and then shoots him.
Yeah, so he has to take off, and this is where kind of sorry about that bang, guys. This is kind of where our story kind of wraps up, where he gets picked up by Carl and Sandy and fucking kills them.
And we're like, oh shit! Whoa!
No, we're not going to see my scene, remember? Like, I feel like we're trying to slip back into old ways.
I know. I just wanted to add some emotion because the killers of the whole movie just picked up Tom Holland.
And the saddest part is, to me, that in the movie they say it too, Sandy is thinking about killing Carl and taking off with Arvin, which...
She should have done it.
Sandy deserved a much happier ending. She really, really did. Like, if you read the book, if you watch the movie... Well, if you watch the movie, she kind of seems like a bitch. That's just a serial killer, and she kind of is. But she deserves so much better. She never had a chance.
You can kind of tell, as someone who didn't read the book, that's why my opinion is here.
Bodecker was an abusive piece of shit as an older brother. Her dad took off without her ever getting to know her. She was just immediately taken advantage by every single guy in her life. It's really... This movie has a lot of heartbreaking stories. The story... I mean, the book, of course, does too, but that's not what we're discussing.
So, of course, Bodecker is the sheriff, or going to be the sheriff?
No,
he wants re-elected as the sheriff. Right. I get it. Okay, it's coming together.
This is one part that I will disagree with. I don't think they call Bodecker here, but either way, they call him to his...
You have to tell the sheriff what's happening if you're on the scene.
But he's not the sheriff, technically, at this point. In the book, this is where the book and the movie differ. Where he's already lost the election.
This is fucking small town life, though. There's not that many people. Like, here, we don't even have cops in our town. We have cops.
Don't
we have cops.
Advertise that. We have cops with tanks.
We just don't have a station.
And if you guys try to break into our house, they will come murder you. We definitely don't live in a town without cops. No. Sure not.
We definitely don't know that you can defund police and still have a working society.
We definitely haven't called the cops on burglars breaking into a house across the street from us and seen no cops come.
But we have a double-barreled shotgun.
Joe Biden.
See what I did there?
Alright, anyways, Bodecker gets called to assist murder. She's dead as fuck. She got shot in the throat by Tom Holland.
Because she had blanks in her gun because Carl didn't trust her and loaded her gun with blanks.
Yeah.
Because he was an abusive piece of shit.
And so Bodecker goes after Holland. Holland kills Bodecker. Bodecker dies. Holland gets picked up by Arvin. Holland is Arvin. Gets picked up by people, and he falls asleep in the car.
Hippie people. So
Yeah.
we assume that they're nicer than these crazy evangelical religious fucks.
And we assume that Arvin finally is going to get to escape this shithole area and be happy, hopefully.
Good luck, Arvin. The end.
Okay, so really,
Now that we went over the story but tried not to go over it scene by scene.
I need to talk about the book real quick. Few things.
He's obviously... There's a strong energy coming from
Yes.
over
So
here.
the book really is right on par with the movie. I keep seeing people say that they don't like this iteration of it, and I just disagree because the parts that are left out from the movie are fucking graphic as shit. Like I haven't told you about them for some good reasons, some bad reasons, because you yell at me whenever I try to describe it. But you know, this movie they did a really good job with it. My major complaint is I feel like the Roy and Theodore relationship was downplayed, and it shouldn't have been, because that story, if not all of it, like in the book, it gets into fucking.
We didn't have
child
enough
rape.
shit. We wanted incest,
No,
gay relations added.
yeah, they didn't need to add all of it. Theodore rapes a child, and that's, I mean, we don't necessarily need that in the movie, but I feel like understanding why Roy picked Helen to kill instead of just being willy-nilly, and diving into his illness a little bit more, I think would have helped. That's it. That's really my only complaint. I think everything else, I think they hit what they need to hit, and I think the stuff that they skipped out on is stuff they needed to skip out on.
Yeah, sounds like we should be thankful.
No, and I don't even mean it like that, to be honest. Where I just mean, like, we would not have this movie if they had given it the exact treatment that the book used.
Oh, we didn't say that it was shot on 35mm film, which is cool.
That's something that Tarantino likes to do, which I thought was... And it does add a different dimension to the film, and it's not something that Netflix likes to do. So that's really, really cool.
Back in the day, kids, you had to, like, take pictures on film, and it was in a roll, and then you had to put it in this case so the light wouldn't go, and then you got it developed. And just...
It was a lot more complicated.
Tidbits.
Well, it
So
adds,
them making movies on it, again, is cool.
it adds to a lot to the picture. Kind of like, anyways, I could...
There's lots to go on cinematically with the shadows and the lighting, and yeah, but we aren't that podcast.
Well, we're also almost 50 minutes in, so...
Yeah, we should... Important things. Tom Holland is a Disney star, and he
Yes. I think,
caps some bitches, and...
I think this is actually really important. I know, honestly, I really, really do. I am blown away that Disney allowed him to play in this movie, because this is not a Disney movie.
I don't know how that works with, like, contracts and all that, but I'm just glad he did it, because that is a huge step for his career.
He was
for
great
sure.
as Spider-Man, but this actually has me excited for his career. Like, instead of me thinking he can be a decent MCU character, it's just like, no, I want to see what he's doing next.
Mm-hmm.
This was a phenomenal role for him that he knocked out of the park. He nailed it. You know what? Before we jump into the user ratings, I think we should do our ratings, but do you have any more gush?
You noticed...
That sounds gross, but I just mean, like, we both enjoy this movie.
Well,
this
back to Robert Pattinson then.
Well,
did you see his gut? Okay, I want to talk about that. He probably gained weight for this role. People were giving him shit because he wasn't getting in shape for Batman. He had COVID. And he was probably gaining weight to be Preston Teagarden. Well, yeah, bulking to cut, I guess.
Yeah, this movie came out, and then Batman's going to come out in about 2 years, so you got to put on weight.
They said they're filming it again.
Listen,
so.
Have you watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Batman versus Spider-Man. We had, they were going to have Chris Evans play Bodecker, but instead the person who played Bodecker is also an MCU actor. So there's all kinds of like orgies happening.
Evans can clearly play a lot of different roles, but Bodecker was perfect. Like that guy just has a face you want to hate.
We don't want to hate Chris Evans.
No. All right.
That's not going to work.
So, what do you give it out of 10? Because we're going to jump into the user reviews and the actual...
Okay, so like the premise of our podcast is movies you love and I put up with. If this movie didn't have Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, Tom Harland Williams, and our friend Jason, I would fucking hate this movie. It was slow. It was...
Kate.
Violent. It was... There was, like, Cormac McCarthy vibes in there.
Which have already traumatized you.
Yes, but because of them and their performances and, like, the story was good. Fuck. I don't know. An 8.7 out of 10.
That's high praise.
Yeah.
That's high praise. Okay, so if you're giving 8.7, I'm going to go 9. Just because I'm higher on it than you were.
Yeah, maybe mine was too high.
No, I think 8.7 is good. You can't change it. It's stuck.
Oh,
it's
okay.
stuck in the landmines of time.
It's recorded now.
That's not the phrase. Stuck in the...
So those are our ratings. Let's see what you guys have said on the internet.
How dare you? I do not believe our listeners are contributing to the 1 out of 10s.
Oh, you're going to start with the shit.
No,
okay.
We're going to start with 10 out of 10s.
Okay.
AS 39295 says, "My God, what a movie, ellipses, see with patience, ellipses, best 2020 surprise, ellipses."
See with patience. I would agree with that statement.
You know what's not a surprise?
What?
As 39295 using ellipses.
No.
Bentley Fold says, "Netflix has been fantastic over the past few months, successfully filling our days with entertaining movies and shows when a lot of us have not much else to do. This did not disappoint. Fantastic cast, great acting, and a good story. Well done. 10 out of 10. Yep. Agree with that. Not going to add one word to that. Yep. Okay, so jumping over to the dumber side of IMDb. Boom, shots fired. The RNR3 says, "Whoa, what a lemon. To bring God into this mess without at least a foreseeable outcome is something else. This movie was something I wouldn't subject my worst to."
Oh.
Their worst what?
Did you get pissed off over the religion in the film?
Oh my God. What a long waste of precious hours.
Why?
This movie is painful. It has no storyline, and what storyline there is painfully slow. Don't waste your time watching this movie. I can't understand how it has done so well so far. It is slow, and to sum this story up, I don't know what that means, could be done in 30... Oh, to sum this story up, could be done in 30 minutes. Much better things to watch out there. I'm foaming at the mouth. I'm not pronouncing the name O'Leary. I will never get those hours back. 1 out of 10. Okay, so we don't add to these reviews, so we're moving on. IMDb gave it a 7.2. The critics on Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 65%, whereas the audience gave it an 83%. I'm going much higher. I think after having read,
you're gonna rate it again?
Yeah, I stick with my rating.
Oh.
I read the book and then I listened to the book after watching the movie, and then we rewatched the movie. I'm pretty sure I'm more informed than the 142 critics that gave it a 65%. These stupid fuckers. This movie is great.
I wonder what your credentials are to be a critic.
Well, I have watched many movies.
Yeah, you forced me to watch about 36 of them since we started doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So, and that's not counting the ones that we watched and just talked about like this. So what have we been watching?
Wait, are we done?
Dear?
Are we done? Does that wrap the fucking
the
long
devil
story short of the devil all the time? We gotta make that determination right now because we can't go back.
I think it does. That's why I moved on.
Yeah, I'm done with that. All right. So what have we been watching, my dear? Today we watched They Live for both of our very first time. This is an old-ass movie that was fucking awesome.
I'm still, like, it's relevant today.
It's weirdly relevant. Like, even though, like, I get why you kind of, like, went about your day doing other things, but, yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah, sort of put up with that one. Not really.
What else have we been watching?
There was something. Well, you made us watch The Muppets last night, but that wasn't it.
No. What did we watch recently?
Yeah, we had to talk about something. What was it? Fuck. We don't want to press pause. We don't want to edit this out.
Yeah, we're going to keep going. And so...
we've caught up on Ted Lasso. We're catching up on...
No, we're all caught up on
Lovecraft Country,
which
that
I'll
took a
never
turn.
look at high heels the same way again.
Yeah, that took a turn right there. It reminded me of the 13 Reasons Why broom handle scene.
I have not watched that.
We should have had a trigger warning before we started talking about either one of those.
Yeah, it's rough. We watched the Seahawks absolutely decimate the Patriots by 5 points, which is awesome. What were we going to talk about? Fuck, keep going, honey. Rap for us.
No. Please don't. Please don't.
Fuck.
Let's just pause for Audacity.
Are we done?
Wait, no. Are we ready for the unfocused rabbit traily talk?
Yeah.
Where we say, this movie reminded me of this movie, reminded me of this movie?
Yeah.
I was thinking Frailty a lot. Especially, well, in the beginning when Arvin's still a kid, you kind of see him look at his dad like, Dad, you're fucking nuts. And that is what happened to Matthew McConaughey? No. Matthew McConaughey's brother.
Yeah.
During Frailty while he was... You fell asleep during that movie. What are you even talking about? I watched that to its completion, even though I don't really like the whole religious stuff.
It often goes hand in hand with just mental illness.
Yes.
Not making a judgment call. It just does. It just does. Not, like I said, not making a call one way or the other. It just often does. Plain and simple.
Delusions!
Is that it on The Devil All the Time? Do you have more?
Feels like I should have more, but I don't. I just watched Frailty too. It's a good movie about family, religious, mental illness.
Well, The Devil All the Time is really good, so watch that. Because that's what this is about. Frailty's available. It's been out for like 45 fucking years. Not that long, but you guys know what I mean.
This whole podcast is telling people to watch The Devil All the Time. I just thought we'd throw young Matthew McConaughey at bone. Like, hey, you need one.
Anyways.
Make more car commercials.
Okay. So.
Don't
what
yell
have you been watching?
At us.
I watched #Alive, a Korean zombie film that's amazing. It's on Netflix. It's available. The dub version's there. I don't know. You make your decisions. I'd rather read the fucking subtitles. It just makes a movie feel more united.
That's too much horror for me. Too much.
And we also, today we watched They Live for my very first time, your very first time. This movie's fucking great.
I didn't know it existed.
It's a very 80s action movie. It's kind of a comedy. I don't know. It's cheesy. It's great. It's fucking wonderful. Watch it.
I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Is that how it goes?
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that came from Duke Nukem. Apparently comes from this. Who would have known? The more you know. So I think that's it. Like we haven't watched a ton.
We literally watch The Devil all the time, so that's why we have nothing else to say.
It's like a 2.5-hour movie, and we watched it 3 times?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Trying to give it justice.
All
so
right.
we tried.
So, from Mike and Jordan, please go to iTunes, give us a rating, give us a subscription, sign up. I think we're going to try to put the video portion of this out on YouTube. We're going to fuck around with that, see what happens. Our Instagram is _long_story_short_podcast. And our Twitter is TheLongStorySH1. And whenever we figure out YouTube, we'll let you know on our Twitter what that is. So
we'll try to make it easier than both of those.
Let us know what you think of this new format. Let us know if you think this was too unfocused. Let us know if you like the conversation more. We definitely want to hear from you. Leave us a rating, leave us a review, reach out to us on Twitter. Let us know what you want to see, what you want to hear.
Slide into our DMs.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jordan.
Have a wonderful week.
Bye.